Hey people, Injured here for every 3, Typhon Arena, blue side. We have 2 Hive Tyrants. First up is Kain, and we also have Carpo. These guys are big stumpy fellas that walk through objects and cannot be suppressed. Powerful offense, disruption and support. Begin in melee combat with a basic synapse. Alongside them is Zeno, or is it Zeno? Plays a Plague Champion, starts off range combat with damage over time bolter. Can get melee weapons, some decent utility and support, can build turrets and repair, but is very slow. For the red team, 2 Space Marine players. First up is Triumph, as an Apothecary support commander that fights in melee combat by default, begins with a targeted heal and a passive health regeneration aura. This is the Salamanders elite scheme, looking pretty cool. There's those capes, there's those capes. We also have Cudder here as a Techmarine, starts off range combat, puts out some good damage, can also support destructions and repair, and wade into melee combat too. And supporting them is Balsahar as a Grey Knight brother captain of the Ordo Malleus, powerful support commander that fights in melee combat with some good disruption too. Cannot be suppressed and walks through objects, much like the Hive Tyrant, I guess, but he gives his support in a much more active way with some powerful active buffs, whereas the Hive Tyrant supports with some more passive stuff, and also just by creating opportunities with his bulk and disruption, chasing off the brother captain here. You see the strike squad trying to close the distance on the Termagants. Stormtroopers getting pretty low there, but they do back away. Hive Tyrant needs to be careful here. Looks like he's going to be alright now. Strike squad are in retreat path, but I don't think they'll take him down. Plague Champion standing tall and shooting the crap out of stuff. We need to be careful of that damage over time early on, especially combined with the Spawn Mine. The brother captain is going to go down here. He will get revived pretty easily, but an early loss and a chunk of XP there for Zeno. He's got a double CSM on the way, nothing wrong with that. Shoot down that brother captain a bit faster. Meanwhile, top, the Hive Tyrant has done pretty well. Kain, he's capped everything up apart from this power, which is left uncapped, and now he's going to meet the Apothecary play here. So standard is to tie up the tactical marines with the Hive Tyrant and then pour all of the DPS on either the Apothecary or those scouts. Scouts might stay behind the heavy cover there, so they'll probably pour it into that Apothecary. See the damage he's taking. How much health does he start with these days? 600 flat. Hive Tyrant with 1050 now. Good special attack. Apothecary is going to need to use his heal on himself. Maybe he has already. He's going to be persuaded to leave, but who's going to blink first? They both retreat at pretty much exactly the same time, and that means that the tactical marines can handle the Termagants, which is why they're backing off. The Hormagaunts not getting involved. They are decapping, which is a good use of their time, I think. He might have been able to win that engagement with those Hormagaunts there and maybe pushed onto the power after. But that decap is pretty annoying. We have Devastators up. We have Sniper Scouts up. We have Inquisitorial Operatives up. These guys are pretty cool. These days they start with a stun grenade, which reduces weapon and sight range by 75% when you hit it. I believe that is it right there. Once you get their fallback plan, which they do have, they can then use a smoke grenade like this, which reduces incoming damage and suppression. It might even give suppression immunity, which would be pretty cool. And once they get their sergeant, they can get, wow, melter bombs, but down go those strike squad fellas. Got way too deep in there to try and chase down the warrior brood in melee, trying to tie up that barbed strangler, of course. And they pay for it. This guy getting up a quick brood nest, pretty aggressive and early brood nest there. Usually you don't get them up early because they are taken down quickly, and then you're wasting your 100 red, but maybe he's confident of holding that position. Only 1 generator up here. They must have been bashed or something, right? Ravener brood up for Kain. Start off with ranged weapons, but they can hold their own in melee. Can get more of a specialized melee upgrade as well, and they can tunnel around, which is useful. Devastators up here. Might see some extended carapaces to charge those Devastators down. In fact, we have one on the way for Kain. Assault squad for Cudder. Might get chewed up by heretics and Hormagaunts. We'll see how that plays out. Plague Champion, of course, can switch to his awesome Plague Sword too, which is a power melee weapon that is not affected by melee resistance. The only melee weapon in the game where that is the case. And can chop through Assault Marines pretty nicely. This is quite a tight area, of course, so AoE stuff in general does pretty well, like black grenades and bile spewers and grenade launchers, as we see here. Barb Stranglers and Psychic Scream and that kind of thing could do well too. It's kicking off though. Red team determined to push through here. Doing pretty well. We have some incinerators from the Purgation squad as well. Those things suppress units and deal some chunks of damage, as you can see there. A squad jumping on the Warrior Brood with Barb Stranglers, as you'd expect. We always see Balsahar replacing that Strat squad. Strat squad are pretty cool. Can come out swinging in tier 1 with their upgrades, especially Cybolt ammunition and the Nemesis focus. I'm not sure if the Cybolt ammunition used to grant a speed debuff on hit. I'm not sure if it still does that. Once you get their Justicar, it grants a accuracy debuff. So if it still grants that speed debuff as well, that's pretty potent. They make up for the, I guess, the lack of raw DPS by providing a little bit of support with the speed and the accuracy debuff. If that speed debuff is still there, I'm pretty sure it's still on the tooltip. Assault squad here from Triumph, mixing up with Raveners, while the Hormagaunts eat some Devastators. These guys with adrenal glands, cannot underestimate them. They can sneak in and eat your needs. Decap here. So the captain's level 2, no war gear yet. He does start with We Are the Hammer, of course, which grants damage resistance and a speed bonus, but he does not get the benefit of the speed bonus himself unless he gets his Nemesis Force Sword. Termagant's in trouble. Split up here a bit, the blue team. Not sure where the other heretics of Zeno are. Oh, here they are. Still in their default melee state. Getting suppressed. Some disruption from the grenade launchers there. Plague Champion does well under suppression. Does not get the usual massive weapon cooldown increase when you're suppressed, and also can move around relatively well. So he can just stand and shoot down setup teams with a heavy weapon if he's in cover and stuff. He goes down there to the assault squad. Purgation down to 2 models, which does cut their DPS and suppression ability down, since each model does get an incinerator. There's some Nurgle worship. First time I've seen that Nurgle worship flick out there. Here comes the Hive Town. He's pissed, charging through everything, breaking that heavy cover piece. Gets in on the Devastator. Fantastic charge from Carpo. Might set up this engagement here. Warrior Brood got caught. Brother Captain's now in amongst stuff, and those incinerators are painful for those poor little Hormagaunts. Operatives as well do some decent damage with those shotguns, I think. They can get their Sergeant, of course, in tier 2. I believe he's a 250 hit point model, so in terms of durability does help them out quite a lot. And gives them a pretty handy melter bomb. Tier 2s now from Triumph, Balsahar, Zeno and Carpo. What's going on top? What's been going on? We do have a Warrior Brood for Kain. And no war gear for Kain. What about Mr. Apothecary? Got a customized Stormbolter. Level 2 now. The Apothecary's targeted heal does upgrade itself every 2 levels. I wish more of the abilities did that. I don't think... maybe the healing abilities at least. I don't think they do though. Which is why that Sanguine Chainsword is so good for him, because it allows him to be much more aggressive, peeling models off, getting that XP, and making his heal more powerful. But he's gone for that Stormbolter, which, I mean, full auto is mental. I've said many times that I don't like those shooty abilities that the Warp Spider, the Apothecary, and the War Boss have that can lock you down in that stun. Don't like that at all. They've tweaked it a few times to make it not so mental. It's like there's a chance for it to stun and all this stuff, but it still seems to do pretty much the same thing, and which is one click kind of take your hero out of the game. The answer, of course, is to manage that by putting pressure on the hero that's doing it to you and that kind of thing, and use your positioning, try and bait him out with your own hero. There's obviously ways around it, but I don't like those kind of abilities. Devastator's doing stuff here. Well, shooting the heavy bolter more specifically. Doing stuff. Awesome commentary. They do get away. I thought they were down there. I thought the Hive Town was going to finish them off. That's why you get Rendon Talons, buddy. Power Bash. Going to be a full one, looks like. What's going on over here? It's a dead Hive Tyrant. He's twitching. Are they going to get him revived up though. Plague Champion might take a little trip. He's got the Mucus Discharge, fantastic accessory. And with all these friendly units nearby, there's going to be big heals going off. I think it's a 70 heal for your nearby allies, and it's like a 110 heal for the Plague Champion himself. Which is pretty handy when you're trying to spread Nurgle's love. He's got some Bloodletters up, which are awesome. Hellblades, which are power melee weapons in this game. Well, in Elite mod. And they can like teleport around and stuff, like demons do. Get in on these Purgation and these Devastators and that kind of thing. Maybe even just go toe-to-toe with those Assault Marines. Here's a Whirlwind artillery piece. Potentially awesome disruption like that, but not the most accurate thing around. Can't really be relied on, because of why a lot of players don't use them. We've got a Nurgle Shrine up. This is giving off that periodic heal. I believe it's a 7% heal every time that procs, and it will proc more often if you are worshipping it. Also allows you to reinforce off it when you're worshipping it. I think it's the best shrine. The others are good, and they have been buffed and tweaked in Elite mod in really great ways, but that Nurgle Shrine is so good in a team game especially. I believe the buffs from the other shrines only affect your own units, I think. It also suppresses enemies that get close, which maybe is kind of like a step too far. I always thought it's like, why are we suppressing stuff as well? This shrine does enough, but I'm not going to complain as a Plague Champion player. Zone Throat getting shots in here for Carpo. Blue team hold on to their VP. That shrine doing wonders, allowing him to be so sustainable. Plague Champion, of course, with that heal himself also. He's up to level 3, he's doing well. He's been tidy. Went down once, defending his own power. Otherwise, done some good work. Apothecary levels up. So he's 3 now. And has his improved medical equipment. Look at this. Warrior Brood with Adrenal Glands. Another Warrior Brood dropped in with their default power melee weapons. And some Sternguard veterans running away. How long are you going to stand here for, Mr. Apothecary? That Warrior Brood barely getting away. Assault Squad is here. Apothecary is now being tied up, so he's pretty much impotent in this fight, apart from throwing out heals, which is, of course, very important. It's quite a big heal he throws out. I wish I knew the numbers on it. Especially as it levels up. They do win the engagement. Assault Squad are so durable. Got that Sergeant with his power sword too. Blue team dominating the bottom of the map here. Here is a Terminator Librarian with his Liber Demonica. And that is some kind of buff that I don't recognize. Purifiers are in play. So these guys do have power melee weapons. And they do like 37 DPS per model or something. That's quite a lot. But they have a unique trait in that they do double damage to vehicles. So even though they're a power weapon, they can do some work versus vehicles. Rather than give them full heavy melee damage, they just have these power weapons that do double damage to vehicles. Would be nice if that was kind of communicated a bit better to opposing players that might not know that. Maybe make it a toggle that you flick on and gives them some kind of visual indicator. Balsahar had a bad fight there, it seems like. He's got Purgation, Stormtroopers, Purifiers, no idea what happened to the operatives. I wasn't paying attention. Carpo getting in here on his Homogots. No Adrenal Glands. Bloodletter's always a menace, big menace to Devastators, especially since they have that kind of modified 20% melee resistance these days. What's going on up here? Homogots leaping in on Scouts, right into Devastators. That's a Capillary Tower, is it? And a Ravener Brood Burrow Strike. Need to tie them up, fellas. They're to set up in your face. There's the tie up. Switch them to melee. Armor of the Apothecary and doing its thing with advanced healing. Need to try and get that Apothecary out of there now, quickly. Much easier said than done, of course, because the Devastators are messing up your movement. The Assault Marines can disrupt you and disrupt you again with a Merciless Strike. Sternguard Veterans doing their damage. First Company Tactical Marines, they can switch to different ammo types to combat different targets. They're using their Kraken bolts here because they're shooting at the heavily armored Warrior Brood. 345, 209, 221 cap for blue. Lots of green crap on the ground. Oh, Crushing Claw is on the way. Look how expensive that is. But you get a 108 heavy melee DPS weapon. He's doing more DPS here than a melee Walker, which is mental. He doesn't have splash damage, of course, so not quite as effective at chopping through infantry, but scary thing. What's this? Power bashing. Purifier's getting some XP from bashing power here. They have their Justicar. He gives them Psychic Field, that's it. Maybe we'll see it thrown out here. What about you, Mr. Brother Captain? You have the Mantle of Terror. Reduces all cooldowns, which is pretty damn cool. And Nemesis Vortex is great as well. There it is. I don't think you can move it now. You used to be able to move this thing around. I don't think you can do that anymore. But it still looks cool. Blows up. Some area denial there. Helps you get into position and stop your enemy getting into position. Oh, and also the Vindicare Assassin. I love sniper units. But I don't like facing sniper units. Mass ranges is painful. But Vindicare Assassin's cool. Has those Exodus rounds loaded in, which are good versus infantry. Can also load in Turbo Penetrator rounds and use this target acquired ability, which gives him more weapon range and also reveals the location of targets he shoots for like 10 seconds or something, which is a neat idea. Got into trouble there though, and it was like a 2v1 versus Balsahar, but hey, he pulled around the blue team a little bit. Red team not really able to take advantage of that. 293 to 205. They seem to be getting the better of the bottom here, the blue team, quite consistently since like late tier 2. That's a Dreadnought though, and a Dreadnought with Techmarine support can do some work. He's gone for the Assault Cannon. Gives you that barrage. Could be nasty to these Termagants. Zoanthrope is doing his thing, floating around. Melter Gun Techmarine is kind of a weird one. There's no vehicles on the field. I mean, it's good DPS versus everything, but wouldn't expect to see it unless vehicles are up. Maybe he's got an eye on possible Carnifexes soon. 271 to 205. Warrior Brood here need to be careful. That melee synapse being granted here to Hormagaunts and also to the Ravener Brood because they have enhanced muscle coil, I believe. So they will be getting that too. What's going on bottom? Techmarine's capping. He's got the refractor field up. Makes him a lot more tanky, and Signum for some more offense. Mark targets. Mad. I think this tooltip is wrong. I don't think it improves weapon range any longer unless that is the coming update and not the current version, because I think they increased the range of the Melter Gun but then removed the range increase from the Signum armor. I think that's right. 265 199. Tooltips aren't always updated correctly, unfortunately. Brother Captain getting stuck in with his Nemesis warding staff gives him a ward, which is pretty cool. He'll use that on those Justicars, I'm sure. Sorry, the Purifiers. Here they are. Have I been calling them Justicars all along? I might have been. 252 to 199. 2 to 1 cap for red. The Dreadnought goes down. Plague Marine's getting the shot there. And tier 3 for Zeno. Cudder is now looking in trouble. Just Devastators and a Whirlwind. But if they can get tier 3, like Triumph has, he's got some Vanguard veterans on the field with a Power Fist. Tyranids are capping the top though. They might get a triple here, the blue team. There you see Ward on these Purifiers. Old Matty gets around. 237 to 197. Devastators here. Lone Devastators trying to hold the line. Well, hold this rock. Come on, fellas, you can do it. Marco Zine CSM. Painful weapons against heavy and super heavy infantry, which is a lot of the Space Marine roster, of course. And the Ordo Malleus roster. Ouch. Down goes the Whirlwind. That was... what was that? Oh, that was the Thorax Swarm. The Electroshock Grub. Which is a great name for a thing. So is Desiccator Larvae. I always forget what that one does. I think it's like a damage debuff or something for the enemy. Oh, there's that psychic field. That could be nasty on those warriors. It's starting to drop. You see that Synap backlash. It does, is it plasma or power melee? I always forget. I believe it's plasma damage, and it gets more damage per tick the longer it's on the ground. So you need to get the hell out of it. Trying to chase down the zone threat there, I think, but it's just too much for him to deal with, especially with bloodletters there ready to meet them. 237, 116, and by the way, the reason why they have extra damage to vehicles is because they're awesome, and it's like psychic might and that kind of thing. I think it says that in the tooltip. Which, hey, it's good as reason as any. This is a Land Raider Redeemer for Triumph. Are you going to take it to the bottom or try to hold the top? Because as we've seen many times, trying to use Land Raiders on these stairs can lead to dead Land Raiders. But hey, if you get a Land Raider at the top of those stairs on your enemy's VP, it can lead to lots of dead stuff trying to climb up the stairs too. Purifiers are now level 2, taking up to 2365 hit points. That's not bad at all. With Ward on them too, which is like a 30% damage decrease or something. Mark target on a Hive Tyrant. He's not too bothered. He's getting in on these Devastators over here with a Crushing Claw. Should really be called Crushing Claws, surely, because he gets 2 of them. Look. One on each side. Lots of explosive stuff. That's another Psychic Field going up. Purifiers do have the Purification ability, much like the Strat Squad do. Also, so they can give energy back to an ally, such as the Brother Captain, who can be quite energy intensive with all of his abilities. He's down right now, 215 to 103. Red team cannot get back in here at all. Meanwhile, top, Triumph is doing well, although forced off as soon as I say that, of course. Zone Guard Veteran's alright. Hive Town up here also has the Crushing Claw. And, oh, Psychic Scream as well. Bonded Exoskeleton for charging. Oh boy! Orbital Bombardment from... was that Balsahar? Maybe. Pretty nicely aimed, but I don't think it killed anything. Not the most killy of nukes. Those blasts can be very strong against vehicles if they fail to move out of them. 215 to 74, 2 to 1 for blue. They're looking pretty damn strong here, to be honest. Here comes a Carnifex with Thornback. That guy died a lot to that Hive Tyrant. Land Raider Phobos on the way for Zeno. Purifier is trying to get in on the Hive Tyrant, but that is a Carnifex bearing down on you. Oh hey, Interceptors. Teleporting fellows with Psy Cannons, which is cool. And they have a crack grenade, I think, and like a Psych Out grenade or something. And now, is that right? Yeah, now the Justicar gets a Psy Cannon himself. Gonna go top, says Zeno. Because hey, look at this. Triumph is set up here with a 2 to 1 cap and a Land Raider backing him up. Where is it? Well, he's got it on his own VP. So he's not being too gung-ho with it. Which is smart. They need that Land Raider right now. Some Nurgle worship as you run. Every drop of health regen that you can. Techmarine has switched to a plasma gun. That is a Burrow Strike. And they show no fear on the Tactical Marines, but they need to run away. Stone Guard Veterans, I should say, sorry. More Purgation. Oh, these are the same fellas. Level 3. They've done well. Tier 3 for Cudder, the last player to go there. He's only got 2 units on the field too. Maybe he can drop a Venerable Dreadnought to do some work. Vindicator Assassin still taking pot shots. He's got the Chameleoline stealth suit, which infiltrates him, yeah, when he's in cover, which is pretty cool. And for a couple of seconds afterwards. Really neat idea. 171-61. Matt Ward protects the Purifiers, but for how long? That's a lot of damage they are soaking up. Markov Zinc CSM getting shots in there. Bloodletters getting attacked. That's an Orbital and a Psychic Field. Nicely set up Orbital there. There was some stuff flying in, I think, also. Did they live? Those Purifiers lived. I think they actually killed some stuff. Well done. This is a Carnifex. Will it get away? That was a crack grenade. Notice that it went off immediately, unlike a melter bomb, which would have had a timer. These guys are awesome, interceptors. Get more of them, I say. Cudder now, just down to some Stone Guard veterans. Got a decent chunk of resources, but also drop a nuke. We've seen a couple of pretty good orbital bombardments so far. Balsahar must be pretty close to dropping some paladins as well. I believe they are 650, 350, and 100 power, maybe. I know everything about this game, obviously. 129 to 61 on the VPs. Blue team having a look at red team's natural, but Land Red is sitting there. Devastator is sitting there. Scout support. Ravener's coming in, trying to mix things up. I don't think they'll do too much there. Interceptors, sorry, the Purifiers with Ward on them again, and they get away without a model loss. Look at that. His staff is a power weapon too, let's not forget. Oh! Imperial Abyss, that's the Nurgle version, because it's nice and green. 120-60. Blue team holding on with a 2-1, but for how long? Had a couple of decent engagements, the red team, somehow, because Cudder's got a single unit. What are you going to get, buddy? Are you going to get another Land Raider? Is that your plan? Must be the plan. Who's waiting for the 700 requisition or whatever it is. Oh, something's being dropped. Hit some paladins. Going after that zone throat. Oh, but they can't finish him off. They did some special attacks which missed. Not sure I realised those guys had special attacks like that. And now some Terminators from Cudder. I did not go for the Land Raider then. Terminators do give you some great capping power, of course. Look at these side cannons doing work. And that crack grenade. Wow. Used to be a time when Grey Knights or Ordo Malleus struggled against vehicles. Not anymore. They've got some really good vehicle options. Turbo Penetrator, Vindicator Assassin doing some stuff there too. Red team are capping. Barb Strangler Carnifex. It's like a mobile plasma cannon platform that suppresses stuff. With giant claws as well. Paladins with some heavy melee weapons on those guys, so they could get in on this Land Raider Phobos and do some work, but it does have Dirge Caster, of course. How much health do they have? Is it 5,400? It is. But that's double Marco Zinc CSM, and look at the pain they are bringing right here. Level 4 as well. Are they both level 4? No, level 4 and level 3, but the Paladin needs to back off here. Cyclone Missile Launcher Terminators. Vindicator Assassin is cutting this pretty close. That is the Neurothrope doing its thing. With Paroxysm. Painful for that clump of heavy infantry there. 64-31 is so close on VPs. Kain is getting his VP back. We've got some more Terminators up here. Stone Guard running away. Who can cap here though? Looks like it's going to be blue team. Looks like they're going to get the 2-1. But that single was ticking down for a while. Purifiers almost level 4. They are up to 2601 hit points at level 3. How much do they get at 4? I'm not sure if I've seen it. For a while at least. 53 to 31. Come on fellas, level up. Go kill some Venom Brood. Oh, Tyranid formation going off. Stopping the cap if nothing else. Brother Captain went down though. No more wards for those Purifiers for now. Paladins are, I guess, reinforcing. They have reinforced, in fact. Can use Labodemonica's Holy Ground ability. 53 to 31. Looks like there is a push at the top, but we'll stay here for now. Cyclone Missile Launcher goes in. Don't think it really hit the Phobos though. Dirge Caster goes off. Was anything close? Not sure anything was. Oh wow, the Vindicator Assassin's healed up. He does have some decent health regen with his extended operations. Oh wow. Some aggro here from the interceptors. That was a bad play. Run away, fellas. Oh, just teleport away. There we go. Paladin's back in play. This Phobos really is doing a lot for the blue team here. Meanwhile, at the top, Land Raider Redeemer is pushing through. Still a 1-to-1 cap. It's still close. Apothecary has switched to the Anointed Power Axe, as you may have noticed already. Power weapons are good. And it gives them energy back. 2-to-1 for blue now. But can Triumph get this VP? Can he type that Carnifex? There we go. And this guy's got a Power Fist. Can he kill this Carnifex? Vengeance rounds loaded in for the Stone Guard. This is down. This thing's down. Surely. Yes, down it goes. These guys now want to switch back to Kraken to fight the Warriors. Or in fact, they might just ignore the fight and go and cap. Because they're good at that. 2-to-1 for blue. They should be able to stop that VP timer in time. But can red follow it up with a push at the bottom? What's this? Sneaky bloodletters. Down to 8 VPs. Kain asking for a nuke at the top to stop the cap. And there was one. And it exploded those Stone Guard veterans. It was the Imperial Abyss from Zeno. Well done. Had that nuke at just the right time. Can they retake it here? Looks like they can. Raveners are speedy. Triumph with some frustration at his team here. They've done so well just to hold on here, the red team. Blue team have had some pretty crazy rosters going for a while. There's an orbital. Probably from Balsahar, but I'm not sure. It stops the cap. Looks like red team are coming full top, kind of. At least Cudder is, with his 2 units or whatever he has. But look at this now. Level 7 Plague Champion with his retinue of double CSM doing some serious pain. Down goes the Apothecary. Shredded through Cudder's Stone Guard, I think. 53-8. There's another orbital. That one was from Cudder for sure. Doesn't stop the cap though. There's a 2-to-1 about me enough. I think that's going to be enough for the blue team to take this. And yes, they do. Yes, they do. They would have been so pissed if they didn't win this game, I think. But red team put up a hell of a fight, especially Triumph at the top here. Just look at his heroes end of the game. Level 4 Hive Tyrant for Kain. Psychic Scream, Crushing Claw, Bodied Exoskeleton. Level 7 Plague Champion with that Mucus Discharge. Level 7 Hive Tyrant for Carpo. The same build. Level 9 Apothecary. Doing some serious work at the top. Brother Captain was level 5 and down. We saw the Nemesis Vortex and also that awesome warding staff. And a level 10 Techmarine. Melter Gun, Signum and Refractor. Let's get away from that loud noise, shall we? And say thank you for watching, guys. I will see you next time.